5 movies a day. I watched 5 movies in one day. This is a new segment I got. This is brand new episode. This is episode number 1. I thought I would watch 5 movies a day and review them all and see which ones are the best. My 5 movies are Outland, Outland with Sean Connery, Body of Lies with Leonardo DiCaprio, Booty Call with Jamie Foxx, and Equilibrium with Christian Bale. The other one I seen on Tubi, and that movie is Armageddon. Okay, so out of those 5 movies, the absolute worst ones the worst one was, I would have to say, Body of Lies with Leonardo DiCaprio. It just wasn't the best, and who knows if it was better, but I could only stand about 30-40 minutes of this movie. It's about Iraq, terrorism, and terrorists, and bombing and shooting and stuff like that. Second worst is Outland with Sean Connery. Now this one had some promise to it. This is like a sci-fi movie with Sean Connery, and it was okay, but then after like 20-30 minutes it started to get pretty bad. I would say the third best now. Now we're getting into the top 3. I would say the top 3, the third best would be this one. That doesn't mean that it's one of the greatest movies. It's just that out of those 5, this was the third best. This is The Other Matrix. It even tells you right here, forget the Matrix. I did not know this movie existed. It's basically like a Matrix movie with Christian Bale. I don't know exactly when it was made, but I'll tell you more about this in a little bit. Second best, I would say, was Booty Call. This was a comedy, and this was hilarious. In my opinion, I thought it was funny and entertaining, and this was the funniest one for me. So obviously the best film that I watched today was Armageddon. That movie was superb. That is one of those movies that I wouldn't it's bouncing around S tier to A tier. It's an S tier to A tier movie. It was very, very good. The cinematography was phenomenal. There was a lot of beautiful moments, very good writing in the end, good concept, good action, great explosions, lots of great cinematography, good message, makes you feel proud to be an American. It was a pretty damn good movie. I'm going to talk more about Armageddon in my other movies in my other videos where I review movies in depth. So, if you don't know already, Armageddon is about an asteroid that's going to hit the Earth, and they have about 15 days to blow it up with a nuke, but they got to drill a hole into the asteroid, and they got to put a nuke inside there, or else the thing will not explode correctly. So they need some oil drillers, and that's where Bruce Willis comes in. Him and a team of oil drillers, including Ben Affleck, go to this asteroid, drill a hole, put a nuke in it, and detonate that bomb, and that's it, and saves the world. If they don't do that, the whole world just gets destroyed. That movie was pretty damn good, and the cinematography surprised me, even from so long ago. That's definitely one of those movies that you get on 4K. Now, second best is Booty Call. This movie is hilarious. It is rated R, but it should be rated PG-13 in my opinion. There is no nudity in this movie. There's like flashes of what appear to be nudity, and there's suggestive uh, sexual situations in this movie, but it's basically a comedy about two dudes. I don't know if they're in New York or in Brooklyn, somewhere around there. And they pick up these two girls. They're trying to hook up with them. And what ends up happening is a bunch of funny situations, like one girl, she don't want to give it up, and the other girl, she don't care, right? But they don't have protection, so they have to go to the store to get a protection, and then the one thing leads to another, and then they say, well, I need this thing, so they got to go to the store again, and they got the wrong stuff. So just a bunch of funny situations. It was pretty entertaining in my opinion. It was funny and it was hilarious, and I laughed a lot in this. So this is definitely a C tier comedy. Most comedies are going to be C tier. The cinematography in comedies is not the greatest, um, but it's all about the jokes and the situation. Vivica Fox does a phenomenal job in this movie. She doesn't really show herself nude, but she does a lot of funny um, adult things in this. So I would say this in my opinion is a PG-13, but probably not even appropriate for kids. But there's no nudity in this. It's 79 minutes long. Okay, so before we talk about Equilibrium, this was the most special out of all 5 movies. So we're going to talk about Outland with Sean Connery. Some sort of space movie, and it was pretty cool, and the sets were pretty nice, but the story was just not dragging. I mean, it was dragging a bit, and I think I might have to revisit this movie because it seemed like it could have been something good, but it was made in a time where we had more of an attention span. Plus, the filming was horrible. It was a lot of low light, and you couldn't see that much of the film, and I didn't really like that of that movie. These are like those movies that you would watch in the theaters back in the old days, and it was very dark in the theater, and you could actually see it in the theater, but on DVD, you can barely see the thing. So it's about some sort of space cop, and I didn't really watch enough of it to get into it, but it was starting to drag, and oh yeah, there's a lot of cool deaths in this movie. Well, the deaths were in space, so like when someone died, they would explode, and that was some good I don't know, like good makeup and stuff like that they did with that. Last one was Body of Lies, the worst one with Leonardo DiCaprio. It was some sort of war movie about like Iraq and like terrorists, and it was in the desert. I really didn't like it. A little bit in a way kind of reminded me a little bit of Lawrence of Arabia, a little bit. And it was okay, but it was just like nothing special. So, Equilibrium, this movie was by far the craziest one. It was it says like forget the Matrix. This movie will blow you away. This movie, aside from this guy's wardrobe, Christian Bale, and a few shooting scenes, it is nothing like The Matrix. It is made in a time where there is no wars. There is no wars. There's no hatred, no racism, no prejudice, no bad things, right? In a world where they don't even have any color, they don't have any designs and stuff like that. Everything is bland, and it is illegal to censor. They had this thing where like you you would be called a sense offender if you sense something, like if you sense love or pleasure, you would be executed on the spot. and Christian Bale plays the lead Secret Service of this whole um, world where you're not allowed to censor anything. You're not supposed to sense anything. You're not supposed to sense love, pleasure, nothing like that. So you can't listen to music. You can't do all kinds of stuff. And his job is to eradicate everyone. And there's this guy who is the king or the father that is telling everyone, you know what? Back in the day, there used to be a bunch of wars. There was a bunch of racism. People used to kill themselves, and people used to kill others and harm each other. And for that reason, we got rid of everything that could possibly give you anything, any problems. In the beginning of this movie, they capture a bunch of people, and they have a bunch of paintings and a bunch of like decor stuff, like everything in the back, everything you see right here. This would all be illegal in the movie. I would actually get executed right away if I had all this. If I got caught with all this, I would get executed. So they had a bunch of junk like this, plus they had a few paintings. They had the Mona Lisa. They had the actual Mona Lisa. And, well, not the actual one, but in the movie, they had the actual Mona Lisa painting. And they killed all the people who stole all those artifacts and stuff. And I was like, cool. So they recovered all this stolen stuff. And then the guy says, torch it all. So they torched the Mona freaking Lisa. They burned it. They burned it to death, or they burned it to a crisp. They burned everything. So you can't have anything that gives you any sorts of sensory, like movies, books, DVDs, pictures, even frames. You could have mirrors, but you can't have like fancy mirrors and all that stuff. So this was pretty cool. But besides it being unique and different, it was sort of like a D tier movie. The only thing it's it's worthy for is that it was so bad that it was good. But it was actually kind of bad too, so it wasn't the greatest. But I would have this in my collection just as something like something to show you what a bad movie is, but with a really insane concept. Because this movie is like so bad that it's actually bad, but or good. So those were the 5 movies that I watched.